Yes, team, and welcome to session 62 of Mindset Mastery and part 4 of our 4-part mini-series over the last 4 weeks, which has all been based around how to stop overthinking and silence that inner chatter, something that keeps so many people stuck, including myself, for long periods of life. So we are going to go deep today. This session is going to be uploaded quite late because I just made so many notes. I was overthinking everything, and I'm not even joking. Like, to the level where I'm like, should I put this in? Should I not put that in? I wonder if that's right. Does this fit with the other episodes? And it's just the most ridiculous example of, no, you've done it. Hit record and get it recorded. And I probably should have done that about an hour ago, but hey ho, hopefully we have an even better than normal training as a result. So over the last few sessions, we've gone really deep into why we overthink, how to stop spiraling negative thoughts when one small one starts, how to become the observer of your thoughts, how to embrace discomfort and uncertainty. And today we're going to finish with what is, in my opinion, the most powerful mindset tool of all. I had a lot of fun filming this and planning this, and you will have seen me touch on little bits in social media this week when I was talking about how would you be living if you only had 6 months to live. We have to remember this, guys. Life isn't a dress rehearsal. We're not guaranteed 24 hours from the bank of life every single night at midnight. And just take that away this week and next week and moving into 2026. If 2026 was the last year of your life, you knew that was it, lights out, like Jake Paul against Anthony Joshua on the 31st of December 2026, how would you be living? Where would you be focusing? Where would life be different? Would you still be worrying about the things you're worrying about? Would you book the holiday? Would you ask the boy out? Would you ask the girl out? Or would you continue to drift as you might well have done, and many people will have in 2025? So, this is a concept that the Stoics used for thousands of years, 2,000 years ago, and it's still so relevant now, and it's a practice that changed my life massively, more so than anything else. And it's called Memento Mori, and that simply means remember that you will die. Now, you might hear that and think, Lee, this sounds a bit depressing. What is he about to go on about? This is a bit dark. Is he okay? Is he struggling again? That sounds a bit morbid, but stay with me, because this concept isn't about death. It isn't about worrying about death. It isn't about fear of death or fear of running out of time. It's about life. It's about clarity, and it's about peace. And it's about cutting straight through that relentless chatter in your head and asking this simple question: what actually matters right now? Marcus Aurelius wrote, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, what you say, and what you think. So just let that sit with you for a second. You could die tomorrow. You could leave life right now. You could never ever wake up again. Now, if that was true, would you still be worrying about the petty arguments? Would you still be obsessing about what other people think of you? Would you still be worried about what happened last week at work? Would you still be stressing the small stuff? Would you still be worrying about what the freaking scales say? Would you still overanalyze and procrastinate on every decision? Would you spend another 12 months not starting the business that you've been saying you're going to start for the last 5 years? Would you spend another year in the toxic, miserable relationship that you knew was over 5 years ago? Of course you wouldn't. Because when you remember that life is fragile, your priorities sharpen and your mind quiets, which is what we all want. Overthinking is a busy, fast, chatter mind. Now, when we do all of this and the mind quiets and we get clear on what we want, that's when we begin to live with intention. And I want every single one of you to have the most intentional 2026 and year of your life. Now, overthinking versus reality. Overthinking only exists in one of three places: the past, the future, or the imaginary scenarios that will probably never happen. Remember, Mark Twain wrote, you should know this quote by now. If you've been with me some of you have been here for 7 or 8 years now. You've heard me share this so many times. Mark Twain said, I've had a whole lot of worries in my life. Most of them never happened. And that's the reality, right? But when you remember that life isn't guaranteed, it'll bring you back to the one place that overthinking doesn't exist, which is the present. Right here, right now. Superstar DJs. Sorry, couldn't resist. Here we go. This moment, right? That moment. Today, the next few hours, this Christmas. How would you be living this Christmas if it was your last ever Christmas and you knew it was? Because you'll suddenly shift when you understand Memento Mori. When you understand that life is fragile, when you understand it's guaranteed, you'll suddenly start to realize that not every decision needs to be perfect. Not every worry needs your energy. Not every argument needs your input. Not every grudge is worth holding on to. To put yourself first. That not every fear deserves your attention. That not every worry is true. That not every setback is fatal. I could go on and on and on. Because remember, guys, the clock is ticking. This isn't a fucking dress rehearsal. I was going to try and go this whole training without swearing, and I've just failed on 9 minutes. Damn it, I've got a plan for us next year as well. If anyone reckons that I could go a whole month of doing every morning message, every voice note, every check-in reply, and all of the trainings without swearing once, then I think each person should sponsor me at least £50 and we'll collectively give it all to charity. What do you reckon? Comment hell yeah if you're up for that. Pretty safe bet. You could probably put 50 grand in and you're guaranteed not to lose it. Anyway, it's not a dress rehearsal. This is it, guys. This is it. Most of us are in our 40s. Many of us are in our 50s and some of us are in our 60s. There isn't another go. There isn't a replay. There isn't a series 2. This is it. Now that doesn't mean you go and live life recklessly like an absolute idiot and spend all your money and party the year away and tell everyone what you think of them and generally just cause chaos because nothing matters because you're leaving the world. It's about living consciously. It's about saying, I don't know how many days I've got left. And then it's about saying, today I'm going to live with intention. This week I'm going to live with intention. I'm going to be grateful for everything and everyone every day. Because that part alone will destroy 80% of your overthinking. How simple is that? Now, part 2, I want to be transparent with you guys, as I always am, about my own experience. I lost upwards of a month or 2 months of clarity. 2 situations, both in the past, both out of my control, both highly emotional and hurtful, and I could not stop thinking about them from the moment I got up to the moment I went to bed. Both situations almost destroyed me. Both people have had to be blocked completely from my life. Even now, touching on it, I will have to journal afterwards to make sure that they don't crop up. And this practice changed my life because I spent hours and hours and hours worrying, overthinking, analysing, replaying the conversations, wondering about the situations, worrying about what might happen, worrying about why it happened, worrying about other people, worrying about the future, worrying about the past, constantly stuck in my own head to the level I was making myself ill. Flipping between 1 minute being really upset about the situation, next minute wanting to burn people's houses down and break necks because I was that angry about it. It really, really affected me. Now, I'm being honest with you guys about this, I always am. That's when I started reading into Memento Mori. Still can't pronounce it. Like, would I be obsessing over this? Let's just take a random example, right? An argument that you've had with your partner or your friend or your mum or your dad or your brother or your sister or your unicorn or your horse or your dog. Like, would you be so stubborn and worried about it if you knew this was your last year? Would you cling on to it? Would you still be obsessing over it? Would you still be obsessing over your ex? Would you still be worried about being single? Would you still be obsessing over money or any of these things or not booking the holiday? You just wouldn't, guys. And then I just started to implement this Memento Mori. And something inside me just shifted. It really, really, really did shift. And as I said, that really means Memento Mori just means remember, you will die. No one will remember you. Most people won't. It's the reality. We think they will, but they won't. Most people won't after a few weeks, days, or even months. And, you know, we have this incessant worry sometimes about what people are going to think. Like, the reality is, and this is a real reality, right? Most of us won't even know each other in 10 years. Some of you I know will still be here. I know Nat will still be here. I know Logan will still be here. But things change. People drift off. Your social media will be different. It might not even be the same. Yet we still worry and we're inauthentic because we worry about what other people think. I'm actually planning a new training on authenticity. And what isn't really authenticity, what people mean is they're being inauthentic. They have a mask on because of insecurities and a worry about what other people think. There's a great story that Peter Sage told me once. And this isn't about arrogance or about ego or anything, but a guy had been invited to a party. It's a great one to remember this. And it was a black tie party and he just rocked up in his jeans and his t-shirt and his sunglasses and just walked straight in. And the guy whose party it was, I do believe this was a true story, went over and went, "Oh my God, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I'd completely forgotten to tell you that it's black tie." And the guy went, "Oh really? I hadn't noticed." And it's such a great story. He didn't care. He wasn't worried. He'd gone into the room and he was present and he was greeting people, that not worried about anything, that he hadn't even realised that everybody else was in black tie. Whether it's true or not, it's a great story. And as I said, I'm planning a training on that. So, as I said, it's not about living recklessly. It's about living more consciously. And as I said, something inside me shifted. And I'm so grateful for those two situations now, because I will never ever let two situations like that bother me again, because I know now how to handle them. So even though neither situation were nice at the time, especially one of them, I took a great lesson from it, that I won't allow that to happen again. I'll have that shut down in days, not weeks or months. Now, as I said, would you still be worrying about the same shit if you had 6 months to live? the argument, the number on the scales, the opinion that someone posted online, the job that you didn't get, the mistake you made, you know, the fuck up, there's number 2. The argument, the person that didn't text you back, the person that responded negatively, the person that spoke down to you at work. You wouldn't be worried about them. You wouldn't be worried about the thing that didn't go perfect. You'd be living. You'd be loving life. You'd be loving harder. You'd be healing with anyone you needed to heal with. You'd be loving anyone you loved harder than ever before. You'd be present with your kids. You'd be authentic. You'd be speaking your truth. You'd be going after your dreams. You wouldn't be procrastinating. So live like that anyway. Stop delaying your life. Stop apologizing for wanting more. And stop wasting your life thinking and start living your life by doing. Imagine, how do you think if you lived this is what I intend to do. If you lived every year that you get now as the last year of your life, like how incredible do you think your life would be? Comment incredible if you're with me at this point and you're getting what I'm saying. Because that's the gift of Memento Mori. Remember, we will die. It's not fear, it's freedom. It's the whole dance like nobody's watching. Unless, unfortunately, you're Grumper Lump Lee on stage and lots of people are watching. So, this isn't about emptying your mind of the thoughts. We can never ever do that, okay? It's about training the mind to focus on the right thoughts, not no thoughts, the right thoughts. So it's disciplined thinking. It's controlling what you allow into your mind. So when we aim and we can control our thoughts, that's when we have clarity. That's when we have calm. That's when we have perspective. And another great Stoic quote is, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Or the Freeman version that I know I've written somewhere down the next 20 pages, which is when you can't control what's happening to you, but you can control how you respond to it. That's where your power is at. So when you realize this, you will find strength that you never knew existed. I promise you. Because overthinking only happens when you're trying to control everything around you. You're trying to control other people. You're trying to control the environment. You're trying to control what's going on. And you're actually ignoring trying to control what's inside of you. But without any shadow of a doubt, when you can control and let go of what you can't control, or you control what you can control and you let go of what you can't control, and you separate these two things. This might be as simple as, Michael Holland, I hope you're watching this, drop me a who you are if you are. Michael's had quite a nasty fracture this week. Tripped over the goddamn dog. Back in the gym the day afterwards, because I said, what can you do? Well, you can still do arms. He's got a crutch and he's got a big pot on. You can still do arms, you can still do shoulders, you can still do chest, you can still do anything that's seated. You can still work on your mind, you can still build your business, you can still be how bad does your... Oh, actually, I've stopped thinking about it. It's nothing, is it? That's what this is, right? So when you can separate what you can control from what you can't, that's when you'll have true clarity and power, because then you can challenge the irrational stories, call your stories out on their own BS, return to the present moment and focus on what's important, accept discomfort instead of avoiding it, and remember that your time is limited. And when you can do all of those things, your thoughts stop owning you and they stop controlling you, and you start owning and controlling them. And when you're in control, you'll start thinking less, but you'll start thinking better. As I said, it's not about stopping thinking. That sounded like a tongue twister then. You're never going to stop thinking. But what you can control is how you think. And when you think better, you'll silence the inner chatter, you'll stop drowning in your own head, and you'll start using your mind as a fucking weapon. Number 3, I think this charity money is safe. So that's the goal. Weaponizing your mind is the goal. And that's an unbreakable mind. And that's what I'm dedicated to building in every single one of you. So part 4, we're going to come on to some practices. Okay. As you know, the big change in the coaching this year has been not just talking theory, and whether it's the daily message every day or the trainings or the podcast, there's always tasks to do. Most people don't have an information problem, they have an implementation problem. It's not that you don't know what to do, it's that you're not doing what you know, and that's the same as not knowing at all. So this is why we have these in place, because ABC, action brings change. How do you fix anxiety? Action is the only answer. Action builds confidence, another ABC. So we have to take action, and we don't just talk theory here. We train, we practice, and we build the brain. Yes, got to get one bicep tense in like a muscle. So daily practices. Every morning you can repeat, I don't know how many days I have to live. Or Memento Mori. Remember, I will die. Or ask yourself that question. If I had 12 months to live, or 6 months, make it as brutal as you want. I like 12 because I like to plan in 12 years and then break it down into 4 quarters, 90 days. How would you be living? How would you be showing up? So remind yourself every day, I don't know how long I have to live, so today I'm going to live with intention. Today I'm going to live with authenticity. And then each morning write down one thing that you can control and one thing that you can't control, and let go of that one. Just do this. Trust me. That's 2 things. You can not do it and stay the same, or you can do it and see world-class change. And thirdly, write down one challenge that may crop up today. And how would the best version of you handle it? I handled those 2 situations very badly because I was emotional. And I felt attacked, and when I feel attacked, I tend to defend very quickly. So one thing you can control, one thing you can't control that you'll let go of, and one challenge that will come up. And how would the best version of you handle it? So how long does that take, guys? That's less than a minute, right? This trains clarity. This trains your thoughts. This builds discipline, and this rewires your mind. As soon as you get out of bed, then combine gratitude, then combine movement, then combine a 10-minute meditation, then combine some stretching, then combine sending a gratitude message, and you're on fire. I've done all of that by 7 a.m. Now then in the evening, as you know, even within the planner, there's a morning routine and there's an evening routine. Evening reflection, ask yourself, what did I do well today? What were my 3 biggest wins? Post them in the WhatsApp group. Most people are doing that now, which is amazing. Again, in the morning, what are my 3 top priorities? Let's do that in the group tomorrow, all of us. Let's see who watches the video and does it this week. When you do it, comment task from training. One thing that you can control today, one thing that you can't control that you're going to let go of, and one challenge that may crop up, and how will the best version of you handle it. And then our evening reflection, what did I do well today? What did I do not so well, and where can I improve? So again, that's not about guilt, it's not about shame, it's not about blame, it's about wisdom, reflection, and training. This turns your day into a training mission every day. It turns experiences into lessons, okay? And it turns your life into progress. Now, I want to recap on voluntary discomfort and talk about this again, because part of why people overthink is a big fear of discomfort, avoiding pain. The only reason we tend to overthink doing something is because we are worried that it won't go the way we want, and we're worried about how that might make us feel, which is normally that we're not enough, which is every human's inbuilt biggest fear, whether you know that or not. I've been in this game long enough to know that that's everyone's biggest fear. Going right back to 2,000 years ago, I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, and as such, I won't be accepted and I'll be removed from the tribe. I won't be able to eat and I'll die. Not quite that brutal these days, is it? But so it's why people overthink. So you fear getting it wrong. You fear the business or the relationship will fail. You fear that the girl or boy will say no. You fear that you won't get the job interview. That's why, and it's not the actual thing that you're worried about. What you're worried about is the emotion that it creates, which is the emotion that you're not good enough. So this is why people fear making decisions. It's why they fear getting it wrong. So essentially what happens is the brain thinks rather than acting. And one of the best ways to overcome this is practice small discomforts every day. Now that can be the thing that I mentioned in episode 4, which is take a cold shower, go for a walk without your phone, skip your usual comfort habit, your mocha from Costa or your chocolate biscuit with your cup of tea. Do something uncomfortable that makes you feel awkward, not to punish yourself, but to train your nervous system so it can understand that actually that's not fear, it's discomfort, and that discomfort isn't dangerous. Discomfort isn't permanent, and going through discomfort is actually what builds your strength of character the most. Because when we can handle small discomforts, we don't panic as much about the bigger ones. This is why I can do very hard things. 1, because I've had a very hard upbringing. 2, because after the abuse and the horrible situations that I had to come through and become a survivor, not a victim, I was then trained by a very hard man in the military, the colonel, my granddad. So I had tough standards, tough discipline. Wasn't an easy road, but everything I am because of him. If you're looking down, Colonel, I love you. Thank you for everything that you ever taught me. And you stop needing life to be comfortable because you're okay with discomfort. In fact, you embrace it. Bring it on. Bring it on. That's my vibe for 2026. Bring it on. Anything that comes at me, I can handle it. I've been through more than anyone can throw at me this year. Nothing can happen this year that will be worse than anything that's happened in my past. I've handled 100% of my worst days so far. I've got 100% knockout rate. I'm still here. And when you stop needing life to be comfortable and easy, you stop needing certainty and you stop needing reassurance every 5 minutes. You stop needing validation. And when you stop needing all of those things, overthinking loses all of its power. And the harder the things that you go through via choice, the easier your life will become. So the more and more you do hard things, this is the same in sales, right? I've told this story hundreds of times as well. You see confident people as successful people. They're not. Confident people and successful people, when they get to success, are the people that have been able to handle the most amount of discomfort. The salespeople that can hear a 99 no's and still carry on to get 100th yes. It's not about the people who are the most talented. It's about the people that can handle rejection. They can handle adversity. They can handle discomfort. And I guarantee you on 2 things, tattoo these things. In fact, there's about 4. Tattoo these, I'm off on 1. Tattoo these on the backs of your eyelids, okay? The quality of my life will always come down to my ability to handle discomfort and uncertainty. That's number 1. The quality of my life will come down to my ability to have difficult conversations. Number 2. As long as I continue to blame anyone or anything for where I am in life, I'll always be fucked. Number 4, and number 4 swear word. Number 4 is Anything I can't say thank you for will always keep me stuck. If you live by those 4 rules, you're going to have a pretty fantastic life. The quality of your life will come down to the quality of your life will come down to your ability to handle discomfort. Anything you can't say thank you for will always keep you stuck. You have to be able to handle difficult conversations, and you have to be able to handle discomfort and say thank you. Pretty simple things, right? Life's laws. Freeman's life laws. Now, final part before we summarize these trainings. Life happens. Some of y'all think you should have a free pass through and it should be pain-free and there should never be obstacles, operations, deaths, redundancies, injuries, and everything else. Life will always include pain, uncertainty, fear, change, loss, difficulty, challenge, hardship. And peace will never ever come from avoiding those things. You'll just become a little fucking weakling. Number 5. Who just does nothing because they would rather do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing than do something and be someone for fear of how someone might react. Peace doesn't come from avoiding pain. Peace comes from accepting pain, from understanding challenges, from accepting them and working with pain and challenge rather than constantly trying to resist it. If you spend your whole life trying to avoid confrontation, trying to avoid change, and trying to avoid anything that makes you feel out of alignment with comfort, then you never go anywhere, because we have to work with it instead of resisting them. And resisting reality is torture, because you literally can't. Accepting reality is power, and that's when you live with perspective. That's when you live with intentionality. That's when you realize that life isn't guaranteed. That's when you stop trying to control other people, stop trying to control the world, stop trying to control yourself, stop trying to control circumstances. And that's where the strength is, that's where the peace is, and that's where the freedom is. And the only way you can build this, before I summarize these 4 trainings, is going through it. The thought of trying to deliver one of these trainings no doubt would make every single one of you feel very uncomfortable. I'm still not 100% comfortable now. I still, as I've said to you guys before, don't listen to hardly any of the replays. I've listened to a couple, because I would start over-analysing and judging myself, and I don't care. I know right now I'm in my vibe, I'm in my energy, I'm being authentic, and I'm coaching what I believe, and that's why you guys are here. Like, whether anyone likes it, doesn't like it, disagrees with it, it just doesn't, not that it doesn't bother me, I'm just okay with it, because that's life. Everyone's going to have opinions, everyone's entitled to them, everyone's going to have judgments. I'm okay with that, and that's when you become truly free. I'm okay with people not liking me, and whether it's a sales call or filming a video for social media or standing up and having an awkward conversation with your partner or going to the gym or doing something that makes you feel afraid or something that makes you feel uncomfortable, the only way you get stronger is by going through it. And I've only become so strong because I've forced myself to go through so much. Like, even I've told this story before, when I got into like the cold showers and the stuff, that's all I used to remember. Either if I was about to have a fight, like a proper fight in a ring, or I was in a nasty situation on a club front door, I could just go back to the fact, well, hang on, this incident isn't going to last more than 7 minutes, and I can stand in a cold shower for 7 minutes and control my breathing. So I'm just going to stand here and control my breathing while this person continues to throw insights at me, and eventually when I stop reacting, they'll just get bored and walk off, which is what always happened. But if you react and then make it about you and make it personal, chaos within minutes. But most people wouldn't be able to, and like I've got the confidence to say this, there were numerous of those situations when I was afraid. I've been in situations where guns have been pulled, where knives have been pulled. Of course I shit myself, number 6. But in the moment, I learned to control the emotion through going through hard things and practicing it. So it actually felt normal. And that's the only, whatever your thing is that you're afraid of, that you're overthinking, that you're holding back on, that you daren't do, the only way to get better at it is to go through it, is to practice it. Another perfect example when I spoke about this it's the same as talking in a room, right? Even talking on a Zoom. Half of you wouldn't speak up on a group Zoom because you'd be too worried about being judged, that your question's stupid, that people are going to laugh at you. No one cares, and you'd actually find that everyone would love you and support you and think, well done, she had the balls for speaking up. But you only get better at doing anything that you're afraid of or it's uncomfortable by doing it. Not by training, by doing it. So, tangent, because I've gone on way too long again. Final message, right? Final thoughts from this 4-part series. Overthinking isn't going to disappear overnight. Confidence isn't going to grow overnight. But with discipline, another cheeky one, repetition, and with the right practice, you will notice that something will happen over time. It will be a gap, it will be a pause, and it will be space between what happens and how you choose to respond to it. That's the gap that is your freedom. That's the gap that is your power. I knew I'd written this somewhere further down, because when you can't control what's happening to you, but you can control how you respond to it, that's where your power's at. And when you can start to control, you can't control what's happening around you, but you can control your thoughts, that's where your power was at. Overthinking isn't about stopping thinking, it's about controlling what you're thinking. And again, another Stoic quote. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind only, not outside events. And when you realize this, you'll truly find your strength, because happiness doesn't come from controlling people, and it doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering yourself. That's what self-mastery is. Being able to pause and choose how to respond, not just responding. And also, when you stop overthinking or slow your thoughts down, you don't lose intelligence, you don't lose depth, you don't lose energy, you just simply stop drowning in your thoughts and you start using your mind wisely rather than being lost in it. So you think less, but you still think, but you think better. So, I'm going to wrap this up. Some of you may be asleep by now. Comment, still here, if you're still here. Again, do you know what, I've just said that? That's a minor worry, overthinking on my part. Part of my head's going, oh God, you've gone on for ages again, Lee. No one's going to be listening to it. This bored. Wonder if anyone's still here. Let's just check, is anyone still here? Comment here if you're still here. But again, it's not a big thing. I'm not going to get off this call and start worrying about it. And, you know, oh, should I post this training? Is anyone going to like it? Shit, I swore again 5 times, 6 times, and everything in between. I don't worry about it. So, recap. Let's recap these 5 sessions. So 59 was how to stop overthinking and silence the inner chatter. Especially that one for my ADHD is in the building, which is pretty much everyone here now, I think. In that session, go back to it because we learned what overthinking really is and how to silence that inner chatter. So if you haven't watched session 59, go back and watch it. Session 60, a lot of you loved. I know you, James Rhodes and Jane, both loved it. Was becoming the observer of your thoughts. You learned how to detach from your thoughts instead of drowning in them. Session 61, I went off on a bit of a tangent, and that was all about embracing discomfort and uncertainty. As I recapped on this one, the only certainty I can ever give you is that life will always be uncertain, and the quality of your results will come down to your quality, to your ability to handle uncertainty and have difficult conversations and push through discomfort. So we learned that it's essential for growth and that certainty is an illusion. I always worry about when something flashes up on my online banking on my phone over there as well, and I know Nat's downstairs unattended. She won't watch this, so she'll never know that. Don't tell her. Session 62, today's session, Memento Mori. And also, hope you're watching, Paddy C, Patrick Cuthbertson. This whole training was, whole 4-part series was inspired by some long messages that he sent me asking questions. So, you know, please do ask away if you have struggles, if you have challenges, if you have pains, if there's something that you're trying to understand. Because ultimately, me going into the archive that is my brain, my memories and my previous training, as well as looking at new trainings, is what makes these trainings quality and also makes them perfect for you, which is why so many of you listen to these and say, oh my God, I felt like you were talking to me. I was probably answering one of your questions or wanting to solve, like I have an obsession with wanting to solve people's problems and help them live healthier, happier lives. So when you guys say, oh, how do I stop overthinking? How do I do this? Martin's message triggered all the trainings that I did on stress and on anxiety and how do I handle stress and generate wealth. I think that was session 58. That all came from a message that he sent me. So keep sending them. But we've learned the ultimate perspective that we've wrapped up on today. Life is short. Live intentionally. Think clearly, act decisively, and let go of what doesn't matter. And ask yourself these questions to go to bed with tonight or first thing in the morning. And you can do this every day. If today was your last day, would you be proud of how you lived? If not, good, because you're still here. You still have the opportunity to change. You're still learning, you're rewiring, you're training, you're growing, and you're becoming unbreakable one rep at a time. Guys, I love you all. Live with intention, live with clarity, and most of all, live with courage. Hoo-yah!